Mhm.
Yeah. So hello to everybody, to the people that are not in the class, but they are going to watch. And we are going to check, the unit number 6A, where we are. Ahí vamos, 6A. Before we reviewed 6 well-being, but now we have to check, we started, but only with the first part. So we are in page 70, Scarlett, if you have the book, page 70. Page,
Well,
yeah, because we need the book, or I can share also the book with you. 6A, and the name is Pizza with a Pedigree. That's the name of the unit. What? So, all right.
Miss, which page?
Page 70. Page
Okay.
70. All right. Yeah. No listening. No listening. All right, so we reviewed the first part, we did it, ya revisamos la parte 1, so we read the exercise 1 that says reading, answer the questions, we did that. I mean, what are the traditional dishes in Chile or in our region? How often do you eat or make them? How often do you eat or make dishes from other countries? That's what we did, eso lo hicimos. Maybe you can start talking so as to practice, para que practiquen un poquito, Scarlett. You can answer these questions to me. For example, what do you think are the traditional dishes of your country or region? For example, any traditional dish in your region, in Valparaiso, Viña, or Quilpué, whatever, or in Chile, what are the traditional dishes that we have? Can you tell me something about that?
I would say in Valparaiso, the fish sandwich, for example.
Okay.
Pan batido.
Yeah. All right.
With tomato and onions.
And onions. Okay.
And in Chile, cazuela.
Yeah, cazuela, right?
Porotos.
Porotos, yes. Beans. Yeah, porotos,
okay.
right? Good. Yes. Empanadas also.
Empanadas
are very famous in Chile, especially for September the 18th. They also mentioned last class. They told me about charquicán. They say that it's a traditional dish in Chile too. Charquicán and others, right? And then, how often do you eat or make them? How often do you eat, for example, the fish sandwich that you mentioned some years ago?
Hardly ever, no.
Yeah, hardly ever.
No.
Are they expensive?
What?
Are they expensive? Are these sandwiches expensive? No. How much do you pay for one sandwich, for one fish sandwich?
Well, I have never bought one.
Yeah.
Bought one.
Yeah.
I made them on my house.
Good. Okay. So can you explain me how you make it, please?
Well, usually I use the fried fish I ate on my lunch, for example.
Yeah. Okay.
On lunch.
Yeah, at lunch.
And the ¿cómo se dice? Leftovers.
Leftovers con sobritas. Restos que quedan, leftovers.
Sí, lo que no alcanzamos a comer, we use it for fish sandwich.
Yeah, good. Okay, Tiare, we are on unit number 6A, the one that we started last class, que partimos la clase pasada with the reading, con the reading, exercise 1. So I'm checking again the exercise 1, Tiare, because Scarlett is with us, and I want her to practice a little bit before we go on, okay? Yeah, so we are, remember, page 70, Tiare, 70, 6A, unit 6A, the name is Pizza with a Pedigree. Okay. And how often do you eat them or make them? What? You make them as lunch, right? Sometimes. Hello, Kimberly. How are you? Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. And we are in unit 6A, the one that we started last class. So I am checking just unit number 1, I mean exercise 1, because I want Scarlett to practice and Tiare also. And then we continue with the number 2. This is the thing that we have pending, right? Well, Scarlett was telling me that there is a famous dish now in the place where she lives that is a fish sandwich that is becoming very common among young people, right? Especially for lunchtime. I didn't know that, so it's important. But only I watched a program a couple of days ago where I could see a man making this sandwich and also a woman. And she said that she was the inventor of this sandwich that is becoming famous in Chile. That is a fish sandwich. It's fried fish, right? That they use in a sandwich. And they also add, for example, Scarlett was telling me, some slices of tomatoes, and also if you have some leftovers about, for example, some vegetables, you also add these vegetables to this sandwich. Good. It sounds that this is something good. Well, so Scarlett, you say that you sometimes eat this sandwich, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, okay. How often do you, Scarlett, how often do you eat or make, this is question number 3 in the exercise 1 in the reading. How often do you eat or make dishes from other countries, and which dishes?
Well, right now I just remember sushi.
Okay.
I make sushi with my boyfriend.
Okay. So I guess that you are very good at cooking then.
So.
Yeah, okay, not at all, but at least you can make sushi, right? This is this is an international food, sushi. Okay, good. Tiare, what about you, Tiare? How often do you eat dishes from other countries? For example, from Japan, from China, from Italy, from Spain, for example, from Mexico, because in Valparaiso and Viña, we have Mexican restaurants, we have Italian restaurants, we have also Spanish restaurants, we have, of course, Chinese restaurants, etc. So, Tiare, how often do you eat or make dishes from other countries?
I think every day.
Every day.
I eat pasta.
You eat pastas. Okay. Yeah. But do you, Tiare, but
And sushi twice a month.
Twice a month? Okay. All right. And
Sushi.
yeah, do you buy pastas or do you prepare? Or does your mother prepare pasta?
Yes, my mother cooks.
Your mother cooks. Okay. So you don't know. Do you know how to cook, Tiare?
Yes, I
Yes.
know.
Do you know how to cook pastas? For example, canelones. They are very good, very delicious. Canelones. Do you know how to prepare canelones?
Ay, miss, por favor. Where is that?
Canelones, when they are something like this, rounded, and they are stuffed with
rolls.
Chicken meat and some with chicken meat and with sauce on top. They put some sauce and in this kind of, you see, I mean, they smash, for example, the chicken and they add cheese, because remember, Italian people use a lot of cheese. They add cheese to everything, and they add cheese and other ingredients. You see, it's very good, very delicious. Anyway, well, at this time of the day, of course, we can become hungry. Okay, there are lots of, dishes there. Well, let's go now to the part that we are supposed to check today. That is number 2. Read the text, and we have to read. This is reading comprehension first, and then we go to the grammar section. Yeah, first we're going to read about, this pizza with a pedigree, right? Pedigree, is in English, is normally used, this is information for you, to refer to the line of ancestors, right? But in this case, here in this, well, the line of ancestors in people, of course, but there is also an animal of ancestors in animals, right? And suggests here, right, a certain quality. And it is used, the title, because the foods are all authentic traditional foods. That's the idea, right? With a traceable history. Well, And so because pizza, so this makes a catchy, you know, catchy heading. When you put this pizza with a pedigree, it's a catchy, you know, I mean, heading, right? Okay, so let's go to this. Why is pizza napolitana in the news? And number two, why are some of the other foods in the same group as pizza napolitana? And three, which aspects of authentic pizza napolitana are regulated? To answer this, of course, we have to read this text. This is, fortunately, this is short. It's not long. It's a very short reading. It says, food, pizza with a pedigree. So you, Scarlett, are going to read the first paragraph, and you, Tiare, are going to read the second one, all right? And I'm going to read the third. If, you know, Kimberly arrives again, maybe she can help us to read the third. Okay, Scarlett, you can start.
Okay, pizza with a pedigree. There is pizza and there is pizza napolitana. The two connoisseurs.
Connoisseurs, so the experts.
How do I say that?
Connoisseurs.
Yeah.
Connoisseurs.
Connoisseurs say have as much in common as a virgin olive oil as with generic cooking oil. Now, authentic pizza napolitana has joined the elite group.
Yes.
Elite.
Yes, elite.
Or miss.
Elite
Miss.
group. Yes.
Me quedé
No,
pegada
creo que
yo.
es ella. Ah, sí.
¿Qué le pasó?
Ah, ya. Ya ahora sí. Miss.
¿Qué le pasó?
Que se quedó pegada.
¿Quedó pegada?
Un poquito.
Ya, ok. Ya, elite group of
Sí,
European.
se ve pegada.
¿Quién se ve pegada? Yo no estoy
Elite.
pegada porque yo estoy moviéndome y me veo que me estoy moviendo. Maybe you, maybe it's your
Ya.
computer. Kimberly, Tiare,
Usted.
ya, es la Scarlett parece porque le siento
Bueno,
mal.
pero ahora la escucho.
Ya, ok, ya Scarlett. Go
Okay.
on.
Joining the elite group of European Union certified food and drink products like Scottish farm salmon,
Salmon.
salmon, Spanish melon from La Mancha, and English blue Stilton cheese
Yeah.
that have to meet very strict criteria.
Okay, Tiare, and then Kimberly, the third paragraph. Okay, Tiare, once a product.
Okay, once a product is granted traditional specialty
Yes.
status,
Status.
other similar products are not allowed
Allowed.
to use
Yeah.
allowed to use the same name.
Yes.
If your champagne doesn't come from that particular region of France, for example, you can call it champagne,
Champagne.
but be
Champagne.
but be warned.
Be warned.
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 It takes longer to read the EU specification for real. Pizza Napolitana
Yes.
than it does to make one. To be
labeled,
guaranteed traditional specialty.
Yeah.
The pizza can't be over 14
inches
in diameter, and the crust can be more than 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yes.
The ingredients must include type 00.
Yeah. Okay.
Flour and up to 3.5 ounces of San Marzano tomatoes. Applied in a spiraling motions, and the cheese has to be fresh mozzarella di bufala.
Yeah, mozzarella di bufala. Okay, Kimberly, next please.
Pizza has a long history in Italy. The word first appeared in a 997 CE manuscript from Gaeta in a southern Italian town. A millennium later, in 1997, political groups in northern Italy tried to boycott pizza because it was a symbol of their rivals in the south. Perhaps they should accept that pizza napoletana is here to stay now. Thankfully, you don't have to know anything about history to enjoy an authentic pizza napolitana.
Yes, good. That's it. Okay, remember, Tiare is champagne, champagne. Very soft sound, champagne, champagne, right?
Profe,
Yes.
what is conociers?
Connoisseurs. Connoisseurs is the experts, means experts. Son los expertos, los conocedores.
Okay.
That's the, you know, the connoisseurs, means experts, experts. Okay, so anyway, we are going to check it away again in case that you have some problems with the vocabulary, right? So it says a pizza with a pedigree. You see, this is very important here. There is a pizza napolitana. The two connoisseurs, the two experts, you know, say have as much in common as virgin olive oil has with generic cooking oil. Now, authentic pizza napolitana has joined the elite group. Elite, well, you know, when we talk about elite, means the select group. Select group. That's when we talk about elite. Okay, selecto, elite, select group. Okay, has joined, you know, the elite group of European Union. Certified food and drink groups like the Scottish farm salmon, Spanish melon from La Mancha, and English Stilton cheese that have to meet very strict criteria, or maybe very strict, you know, standards. Well, once a product is granted, you know, guaranteed, is granted is when it's given, right? To grant, to give something, is granted, it's given, guaranteed traditional specialty status. Other similar products are not allowed to use the same name. If your champagne doesn't come from that popular region of France, for example, you can call it champagne. But be warned, it takes longer to read the EU specifications for real pizza napolitana than it does to make one. To be labeled guaranteed traditional specialty, the pizza can be over 14 inches in diameter, and the crust, you know, the crust means this is the outer part, that's the crust, el borde de la pizza, the outer part, the crust, right? The crust can be more than 3/4 of an inch thick. The ingredients must include type of flour. It's a special type of flour, right? And up to 3.5 ounces of San Marzano tomatoes applied in a spiraling motion. En un movimiento así espiral, spiraling motion. And the cheese has to be fresh, mozzarella di bufala. This is a brand that you find in Italy. Pizza has a long history in Italy. The word first appeared in a 997 CE manuscript from Gaeta, a southern Italian town. A millennium later, in 1997, political groups in northern Italy tried to boycott pizza because it was a symbol of their rivals in the south. Perhaps they should accept that pizza napolitana is here to stay now. Thankfully, you don't have to know anything about history to enjoy an authentic pizza napolitana. Okay, remember that elite is a small group of the best, right? Or is the select group. Granted is when something is officially given, right? Or awarded. Pedigree, and you have it in the vocabulary, is like, in general words, a documental history. And strict means precise or rigorous. That's the idea of, you know, a strict. Well, according to this reading, it's very special because it's called pizza with a pedigree. Maybe this pizza has, of course, a lot of history, and only connoisseurs say, you know, what they have in common with other pizzas. but we are going to identify why is this pizza called Napolitana in the news. Why is this pizza in the news? What is the idea? Why in this moment? Why is this in the news? It's in the news because of something important has happened with this pizza now, right? What was awarded? Because maybe for that reason, this kind of, this pizza is in the news now. Because maybe something was given, something was awarded. So why is pizza Napolitana in the news? It was given, something like we call a condition, a status, condition, status. So do you have the answer for this? Why is pizza Napolitana in the news according to the text? Can you tell me something? What do you think according to this reading?
I think it's not like a news. It's more like reportaje.
Yeah.
No sé cómo se dice
Well, maybe
en
you
inglés.
can also say in the news, a report. There was a report
Report.
about news. Yeah.
Well, to clarify some aspects of the pizza napolitana.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's maybe you have an idea, but it is because this pizza, you see, Napolitana, was granted, something very important in some countries. That is guaranteed, right? Guaranteed traditional specialty status. That's the thing. So they are very happy because of this, that the pizza was granted, awarded or granted. Those are the synonyms. Awarded, granted, you see, or given, etc. Guaranteed traditional, specialty status. So they have now a status. So that's why they feel, they feel proud of this. Okay.
Could it be certified?
Yeah, okay, certified. Yes, it could also be certified. Yeah. In number 2, okay. What are some of the other foods in the same group as pizza napolitana? What are other foods in the same group? I mean, in the group of having a status.
The Scottish farm salmon.
Yeah, exactly.
And also the champagne from France, it was mentioned.
Yes.
That it was really important.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Spanish melon that Tiare said, sorry.
Yeah, okay, yes, of course. The other products are first champagne, right? That has this status, champagne. Scottish, farmed salmon also. Spanish melon and English blue Stilton cheese or blue cheese. We know in Chile as the blue cheese, right? But Stilton because it belongs to that group of people that, make this cheese. All right, good. And number 3 says, which aspects of authentic pizza napolitana are regulated? Which aspects that are regulated that you have to follow, for example, these rules? Otherwise, they consider that this is not pizza napolitana. What are the things that have been regulated?
Size?
Yeah, size. Okay, good. Size. Only size?
No. The way to apply the sauce.
Yeah.
I don't know what is it.
Maybe we can say, for example, you can call the method, probably the method of preparing it. For example.
The spiraling motion.
Yeah, okay. And also
a special cheese.
Yeah, okay. So the special
and the type of flour.
Yeah, exactly. So in other words, how do you call these? These are called, in other words, we call ingredients, right? Ingredients. So in other words, we can say that, in a brief way, we can say that the question is, how often do you, no, sorry, which aspects of authentic pizza napolitana are regulated? Well, we can say that the aspects that are regulated are size, as you say, ingredients that you mentioned too, cheese, flour, etc. And also we have the method of preparing. Remember the crust, right? It has to be special, some inches, no more than that. Well, as you see, the picture of this pizza napolitana is here, right? This is the real, you know, pizza napolitana. Okay, and then it says in number 3, which food and drink products have protected status in Chile? Which food and drink products have protected status? A protected status. I mean that, in other words, as you say that maybe, for example, these products, you know, I mean, were granted as guaranteed, you know, traditional specialty status in our country. Do you know? Do you have any idea?
Maybe wine?
Yeah, good. Wine. Good. That's correct. Wine. Yes. Wine. Only wine?
No.
No. What other products apart from wine? There are like 3 main products in Chile, you know, that have protected, you know, status. Wine is the first one.
Salmon?
Yeah,
No?
salmon. Yes,
Yeah.
salmon. Salmon, and there is another thing that is also protected. They have protected status that we always, you know, export. And you see in the ocean.
Cooper?
Sorry?
No, that's not food.
What
I
did you say?
said Cooper. I said Cooper.
Copper. Copper.
Copper.
Cobre.
But
No, that's not food. No.
But Miss, is it a fruit or is it like a sea product? The one you're talking about?
No, in general food, but salmon is considered food. And also the seafood, but what other that is very important?
I'm talking about the last product, the product you're talking about. I was asking which category is it, so maybe I can, I don't know, take a guess.
The one that I have in mind, this one?
Yeah.
That one is something that very delicious. We always eat as dessert, sometimes as a dessert. We have fresh, it depends on the season we are. We have these kind of food in our tables. Sorry?
Apples?
Yeah, but how do you call this in general?
Fruit?
Yeah, fruit.
Oh, okay.
They also have this, you know, I mean, let's say a status, right? It's wine first, that has the first category, wine, salmon, fruit in general, right? These are the products that we have here. Okay, good. So we feel lucky, at least we have some products in our country that have this kind of status, right? So that's why they can enter in some countries without any problem, because they have this status, right? So there are certain regulations that they have to follow. For that purpose, they can enter other markets, right, in the world. Okay, that's number 3. Let's go now to the number 4, which is something that maybe you have to be very attentive now, because this is about, you see, grammar. Anyway, do you like pizza? Before going on with something that is maybe sometimes it's different, because grammar is different and speaking is different too. Babies, do you like pizzas or not? In general, pizza?
Yes.
Me too, I like it. Yeah, they are very good, very delicious. Yes, and is it easy to prepare pizza today, for example, in this modern world? Because
Yes.
Because why is it so easy?
Because sometimes they sell just crust.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's easy because you don't need to make, for example, to make the dough. No tienen que hacer la masa. Sometimes you just buy that part in the supermarket. It's ready. The only thing that you have to buy is that, and then in the house, well, what you have to buy, of course, are the ingredients, right? And then you prepare the ingredients in the house, and you put the ingredients you see on the pizza, and then you put it in the oven for a couple of minutes, and that's it. Then you have a delicious pizza, depending on the ingredients. And there are a lot of different kinds of pizza. There is a variety of pizza. I have eaten pizza with fish. pizza with meat, pizza with vegetables, pizza only with, see, for example, with corn. I really love it. With corn and cheese, etc. And you, what is
Miss,
your favorite? Yes.
¿cómo se decía masa?
Dough, dough, dough,
Se-
D-O-U-H, no, D-O-U-G-H, dough, dough.
Okay.
Kimberly, do you like pizzas?
Yes, I really like them.
Yeah, me too. I love them. I think they are very delicious. Yeah,
Even if they have onions sometimes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially caramel, with caramel, you know,
Mm,
caramel and
no thanks.
cebolla caramelada. Oh, I love them. They are very good and it's easy to prepare them.
Even if it's bad for your headache.
Even when I try this, I know that I'm going to have a headache, right? So what I do is sometimes I have a tablet to prevent my migraine, and I eat anyway because I really love pizzas. I love pizzas, but I not eat them very often. Only maybe once every 2 months. No more, no more. Just because of my problems with my head. Okay, baby, so I know. And Tiare, do you like pizzas, Tiare?
Yes,
Yes, and do you know how
I
to
like it.
prepare? Do you know how to prepare them?
Yes.
Of course, because it's easy, right? Very good.
Yeah.
Okay, now, babies, I'm going to invite you to study something that is connected with modal verbs. But modal verbs, that have to do here with obligation and no obligation. Obligation, so it means that when we are obliged to do something or when something is necessary to do, that's obligation. No obligation, well, you can understand, when you're not obliged to do something. Well, this is something that we are going to study, and for obligation or no obligation, in English, we can use, one modal which is very well known, that is must. Must, right? And must, in terms of the form, for example, in English, must is never used with to. This is something very important, never. So we always say, for example, you must, something that is an obligation for someone, for example. You must get up early because you have to be at work at 7:30 in the morning, for example. You see? So you must work, and that's it. Must, which is the modal, and then the verb, without to. You must work. But there is another, modal that sometimes is a modal and it's also a verb, that is have to, that you have always used. So I can use must or have to express, this obligation, right? Okay, have, takes to in English. When you say, for example, he has, now has, because it's a third person singular, this is something that we have to keep in mind. For all the singulars, of course, that I'm going to use have. He has, or she has, or it has, etc. So we, in the case of us, we have to, for example, something that is necessary to do or we are obliged to do. We have to, for example, we have to clean our house very well because of the pandemic. We have to clean, have to. O sea, my mother has to clean the house every day, with a lot of care because of this pandemic, right? This is have to or has to, with obligation or no obligation. When it's no obligation, well, you use it as an obligation. For example, I don't have to, no obligation, negative, I don't have to go to university. Now, I am not obliged because of the moment we're living, right? I don't have to go to university now. Okay, this is one thing, remember. So I'm going to go back again. So the first use of modal is the one that refers to obligation. And in this case, we are going to use must. Or also you can use have to. right? Or if you want to express no obligation, you put it in negative. For example, we must not, or we mustn't, right? We mustn't, for example, we can say, we mustn't, for example, what? We mustn't go out, for example, we mustn't go out after 10 at night, right? No, I mean, no, we must stay home. Yeah, well, we mustn't because it's an obligation, right? Because if we go out, we can get a fine, or maybe they are going to take us to the police station. In that case, because we're obliged to stay home, right? Now, this is a very good example because now we're obliged. But Paraíso and Viña, we are in quarantine, so what we do is we have to stay home. We must stay home, right? In this case, it's an obligation because there is a law, hay una ley, right? The other one is prohibition. Yeah, it's not the same as obligation. Prohibition is prohibition, right? Prohibition, for prohibition, we are going to use, for example, in this case, can't. Prohibition, can't. Then we're going to see some of these examples, right? Using can't, for example. Okay. For permission or no permission, or also sometimes prohibition, you can also use it. For permission, we can use can. When you say, for example, permission, you can go out now. So it's you as your mother, I can tell you that you can go out now. So I am giving you permission to go out. You can go out, right? Or maybe permission, you have permission to do something in the house, for example. Well, you can do it, I say. So that means that you have permission to do it. Or what you can use that I like it is the expression be allowed to, right? In this case, you have to use the verb be, of course, the corresponding form of the verb be, according to the subject. I am allowed to. She is allowed to. Scarlett is allowed to. Or Tiare is allowed to. Kimberly is allowed to. For example, when you have this kind of permission, for example, I can say that Scarlett, Tiare, and Kimberly, 3, plural, are allowed to, for example, are allowed to go to the supermarkets between for 3 hours, because that's the permission that we have, 3 hours, right? So we are allowed to do this. Se nos permite hacer estas cosas. We are allowed, you know, to go to the supermarkets and for 3 hours. I think that's the permission that we have. Okay, well, in case that you can use the negative form, that you no permission or no prohibition, you use the negative. Can't also can be used, or is not, or you are not, or we are not allowed to, or the negative, right? For recommendation, or when you want to give a recommendation to someone, well, the modal that we always use is very common among us because we have studied that before, is should. Recommendation or also for advice, right? Recommendation, for example, what is my recommendation now? Is recommendation for all the people that are in the house. You should wash your hands every time, you know, that you are, let's say, maybe after cooking or after cleaning the apartment or the house. So you should wash your hands. Now, should, or for you to remember, para que no se les olvide, don't forget, should in English is always used with a verb without to. That's why people say you should wash. You should, what else should you do? Another recommendation. You should wear gloves, recomendación. You should wear gloves if you go out because maybe you can become infected. So the idea is you should wear gloves when you buy or when you go out, right? You should wear a mask also, you know, to protect your mouth and your nose. So you should, that's the recommendation. Advice, I can give a piece of advice to Kimberly. I can give a piece of advice to Scarlett, Tiare, and I can say, for example, let's see, Tiare, maybe a piece of advice for her. I can tell you that maybe you should maybe build a small house in the yard for your little brothers to play there. That's a piece of advice. You see, maybe because they can stay in the yard, and then you can do things alone in your bedroom. You can study in your bedroom, and your brothers, can stay in this small, house that you have built. So you should build that house for your brothers, little brothers. And Kimberly, for example, I say, if I give a piece of advice, I say, Kimberly, you should, for example, if there is, let's say, some possibilities of applying for a scholarship, I say, you should apply for a scholarship to the US. Or if I see a Kimberly, Scarlett, for example, I can also give a piece of advice, for her, and I can say, Scarlett, for example, there is another scholarship to London, and I say, Scarlett, you should apply for the scholarship to London. You see? And well, and Tiare, the same thing. You should, for example, you should apply for the scholarship to go to Canada, right? So as you see, should is used as recommendation and also advice that are very similar, recommendation and advice. Now we are going to put this into practice, but first, here we have, you have the grammar box here in the book, the grammar that, gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. And then we have in number 4, it says, look at the grammar box. Yeah, the grammar box here. This is the grammar box. We look at the grammar box, and it says, underline the modal verbs in the news item. Okay, the modal verbs have to and must, well, this is 1. Underline the modal verbs in the news item. And then in number 2, it says the modal verbs have to and must have the same form in the simple past. What is it? Try to discover. 3, 2 of the modal verbs in the news item do not express rules. Which verbs? Okay, yeah. Let's see. Veamos. Let's go step by step. Vamos paso a paso, step by step. Number 4. Underline the modal verbs in the news items. Okay, for example, if I go to the news items, maybe here in this part, right? I'm going to see. You can also see and tell me if you find something about any of these modal verbs, especially to see if you can identify them first. Yeah, the first line, there is no, say, have as much, has with no, the elite, yeah, for example, in the first paragraph here, this is the first, I found one.
The last one.
The last one, exactly, where it says that have to, you see, that have to meet very strict criteria. That's the first one, have to. If you continue in the second paragraph, you can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you identify them?
Are not allowed to use.
Yes, exactly. Are not allowed to use 1. Is there another one? Something that it means prohibited. You're not allowed to.
You can't call it champagne.
Yeah, you can't call it champagne. Good. Is there another one? Another one with prohibition that it has to do with the pizza.
Yes,
Pizza
the pizza
can over.
Yeah.
Can be over.
Yeah, blah, blah. Can be over, exactly. Can be over 14 inches in diameter. And the crust, el borde, the crust, can be more. Yeah, exactly. Can be more. And is there another one? The ingredients, maybe?
Must.
Yeah,
include.
Must. Okay, must. So it's kind of obligation. You see, must include this kind of flour. If you don't use this one, no, it's not Napolitana pizza.
And the cheese has to.
Yes, exactly, Tiare. And the cheese has to be fresh. It's an obligation. It has to be fresh. If it is not fresh, we don't use it, right? Okay, in the other paragraph, do you find other, modals that we are using? We have 2.
Should.
Yeah, should, yes, should accept,
And have
yes,
to.
yes, and don't have to. I said, thankfully, you don't have to know anything about. You don't have to. Okay, good. So it's like no obligation. You don't have to. No tienes que, no es necesario. You don't have to. No obligation. Okay, the next question is for you. It says the modals, you know, the modal verbs have to and must, right, have the same form in the past simple. What is it? The modal verbs have to and must have the same form in the past, in the simple past. What is it? There is one. ¿Cuál es? Which is the one? The modal verbs have to and must have the same in the past. En el pasado, in the past, tiene la misma, o sea, no hay un cambio, hay una sola que se usa, to express the past. And which one? ¿Cuál es? Which is the one? When there is an obligation. When it's the past tense. Do you know? Tiare, do you remember? In the past?
No, I don't know.
You don't remember, okay. The past, the modal that express for have and must, have to and must that express obligation or no obligation in the past is had to. El must no tiene como el must. El have to es el equivalente del must, is the equivalent. So, por lo tanto, ¿quién tiene que tomar la forma del pasado? Es el have to. ¿Y cuál es esa forma? Pasado de have, had. Yo no puedo decir, por ejemplo, to express past, para expresar el pasado, no puedo decir, por ejemplo, let's see, a ver. They, ya, ellos tenían que en el pasado, por ejemplo, en el pasado, me voy a los 50 años para atrás, por ejemplo. They had to, había una obligación. Tenían que usar, por ejemplo, los jóvenes corbatas en el pasado, cuando iban al colegio. Era obligación en los colegios. They had to wear, you see, ties. No puedo decir they must wear ties, porque eso no sería pasado. Entonces, para expresar el pasado, para decir en vez de must, voy a tener que hacer uso de have to. And the past tense of the have to is had to. So, they had to wear a tie. And in the case of making a question, si quiero hacer la pregunta, expressing this obligation or no obligation, to make a question, for example, if I ask someone, si le pregunto a un caballero, le digo, did you have, vuelvo igual como al pasado, did you have to, si con la diferencia que tengo que poner siempre el to en el have, did you have to wear a tie when you were in school? Yes, I did. ¿Se fijan? Hay que tener mucho cuidado con eso, cuando es pregunta. Y es negación, si van a usar la negación, podemos usar el mustn't en la negación, pero si quiero usarlo en pasado, if I want to express something, an idea in the past, they, for example, y si quiero expresar el pasado, esa misma idea que no tenían que hacer algo en el tiempo, no era obligación, they didn't, usarla igual que el pasado, they didn't have to, pero tengo que poner ese to, no lo puedo sacar, they didn't have to, para que haya una diferencia. They didn't have to, for example, wear, let's say, for example, they didn't have to wear, let's say, what, maybe rings, for example, or earrings. They didn't have to wear earrings when they were in high school, right? Yeah, eso hay que tenerlo bien presente aquí en la cabeza. Then, número 3 dice, so, what is it? Cuando dice la pregunta en el 2, what is it? Es had to. But when it's a question, you have to use did you have to. In negative, didn't have to. Okay. 3. Type of the modal verbs in the news item do not express rules. Which verbs? Que no expresan reglas.
The last one. O sea, the two last.
Yeah, which are the two ones?
Shouldn't.
Yeah, should.
And
should.
don't have to.
Yeah, bien. El should y el don't have to. Yes, no expresan rules, porque son like, you know, pieces of advice. It don't have to is no obligation. No es una obligación. Don't have to. Okay, good. Those are the ones. Should and don't have to, right? Okay, now we're going to put into practice. Vamos a la práctica. Vamos a ver ejercicios. We're going to do the exercises here, right? So let's go to the exercise number, what number is it? Well, it's 6, number 6. Do you all have the books? ¿Todos tienen el libro? Sí. I'm going to share. Voy a compartir just in case. Wait a minute. Number 6. Yeah, okay. Yeah, muy rápido. Okay, this is the one, so we are going to use it here. We're going to have a Zoom. Yeah, me muevo un poquito. Ahí. Okay, here we are. So what we're going to do here is, let me see. Voy a hacer un poquito más de zoom. Ahí sí. That's it. That is better. Yeah, okay. Now we are going to concentrate here, right, in this part, because these are the examples. We're going to read the labels, right, from the food packaging. These are the labels. This one, you know, this one also, this, and this. Todos los etiquetados, the labels, right? Look at the example and then write sentences using one of the modal verbs in parentheses. Yeah, here we are given, you see, modal verbs in parentheses to use. First, to pay attention to the structures. Yeah, suitable, this is the label, suitable for vegetarians, right? Okay, and here we have to use can or slash don't have to. For example, here it says vegetarians can eat this product. Yeah, because it says that this is suitable for them, right? So what does it mean when something is suitable? It means that people can do it. So vegetarians can, you know, eat this product, right? It means that they are allowed to do it. So that's why we can use can in this case. You know, vegetarians can eat this product. So this is correct because the idea is that this is suitable for these kind of people. If you want, si ustedes quieren, you can also add other things. Pueden agregar, no sé, otras cosas. For example, I don't know, maybe, if you can think about maybe, well, this is the one, maybe you can add other things, but here, for example, in this case, I would like to do this because this one, we don't have anything here. Not suitable for people with nut allergies. Now, not suitable for people with nut allergies. Here we have don't have to and then shouldn't. Yeah, don't have to and shouldn't. Don't have to and shouldn't. What would you put here?
Shouldn't.
Yeah, okay, so we can say that. For example, here I would create and I would say people with nut allergies, yeah, shouldn't, estoy dando un consejo porque esto no es suitable for them, yeah. People with nut allergies shouldn't what? Shouldn't what? Shouldn't
Eat this product.
Okay, shouldn't eat this product. Correct. Shouldn't eat this product. Okay, good. Now, pay attention to this. What is the label? The label says, do not exceed the recommended daily intake of salt. Okay, do not exceed the recommended daily intake of salt. Okay, so pay attention to this label here. Maybe in this case, we can also give a kind of recommendation or advice here, because do not exceed the recommended daily intake of salt, because can, I think maybe it's not so good for this one. I think it's a recommendation is better here. Yeah, so if you use shouldn't as a recommendation, you shouldn't, or people shouldn't, what are you going to say here? People
Pe- Okay.
okay,
People shouldn't exceed
yeah, the what?
the recommended
Yeah,
daily intake of salt.
yeah, correct. So people shouldn't exceed the recommended daily intake of salt. Correct. Shouldn't exceed. That's the verb. Shouldn't exceed the recommended daily intake of salt. Now it says sample, and here it says not for sale. Yeah, not for sale. Sample. You know, sample. Sample is. I have lots of samples. In before you buy, I can show you some samples, and you can try the samples. Right? That's a sample. Una muestra. Okay. This it says not for sale. Yeah, okay, not for sale. This is correct because they are not for sale. Samples are not for sale, right? Okay, what do we have here? We have two things: don't have to and not allowed to. Yeah. Sample. What happens with it? What can we say here, for example?
People are not allowed to sell it.
Yeah, okay, good. You know, for example, we can say that samples, or maybe we can say that this sample or the sample, as you want. This sample, for example, is not allowed to be sold, for example. This is something that you can write, okay? It's not allowed. This sample is not allowed to. Yeah, it's not allowed to what? No se permite que sea vendida, las muestras no se pueden vender. So, this sample is not, si hablo de una muestra, this sample is not allowed to what? Que se venda, que sea vendida. To be sold. Okay. Heat thoroughly before serving. Yeah, this is the label here. Heat thoroughly before serving. Okay, and what is the we have here? Can and have to, those two modals, right? Heat thoroughly, heat thoroughly. So what are you going to put here? Heat thoroughly, right?
Have to.
Yeah, okay. So people have to what? What is the verb? Have to?
Heat thoroughly before serving.
Yeah, okay. People have to heat thoroughly before serving. All right, good. Not recommended for diabetics. Not recommended for diabetics. Allowed to or shouldn't. ¿Cuál de los dos? Which of the both? I think it should be a recommendation. Una recomendación.
Shouldn't.
Yeah, shouldn't. Okay. Tiare, no, sorry. Kimberly, can you do it?
Diabetics shouldn't eat this product.
Yes, correct. Diabetics shouldn't, shouldn't eat this product. Perfect. Okay, good. Then we go little by little. We have more exercises. Tenemos más ejercicio. I have prepared a guía for you, so don't worry. More. Tenemos más. Yeah. Here, it says exercise number 6, work in pairs. Look at these items and answer the questions. We have durian, eggs, fugu, mackerel, oysters, potatoes, and red beans and steak. Look at the food items and answer the questions. Okay, so these are the items that we have here. This is fugu or puffer fish. This is durian, and this is hackery. This is a shark meat. And the other one is oysters. Okay, and then we have oysters here, right? I think that we know mainly this product. This is the one that everybody knows. Oysters, they are common. You find in the supermarket oysters. Personally, I don't like them, but I can see in the supermarket, and I know that there are many people who love oysters, and they love them raw, crudas, without being cooked. And this is, mackerel, which is shark meat, right? This is, something that is maybe eaten by many people. Carne tiburón, shark meat. Okay, so here we go with this. If you have any idea, so which of these food items have you eaten? None of them. And you, babies? Have you
I
eaten
think
food?
I've just eaten oysters. That's it.
Yeah, oysters. Do you like them, Kimberly?
I don't really like sea products.
Yeah. Okay. And you, Tiare, have you eaten any of these products? Oysters or shark meat? I have eaten shark meat.
The same as Kimberly, only oysters.
Oysters. Okay. And Scarlett, have you ever eaten in your life or seen durian or fugu?
I think just oysters.
Oysters. Okay. Oysters. Good. All right. Then we have, wait a minute, because I want to listen to these conversations about the items. Yeah. Okay. So I invite you to listen to this because this fish, baby, is very, very dangerous, right? Fugu. Fugu, people, we need experts. For example, chefs are the only ones that can be certified to prepare, for example, fugu. The chefs study for about 6 or more months to know how to prepare fugu. It's not easy, it's very difficult, right? Well, and this is because this is very famous in Malaysia, in Philippines, in those countries, right? In Indonesia, and it has become popular fugu in Asia, mainly in Asia, right? And what else can we see? Well, and they can be found in supermarkets too, in the United States and in Asian supermarkets and also in the US, right? But what is the worst thing about fugu? Fugu, if you don't know how to prepare fugu, for example, if you buy fugu and then you go home and you prepare fugu, I'm going to tell you that you're going to die immediately. Exactly. Because it has poisonous in it, right? So that's why there are people that are, let's say trained to know how to prepare fugu. They have to take the poisonous part out, but it's very difficult, they say. So that's why a lot of people have died because they don't know, how to take the parts of fugu that are, poisonous. It's very disgusting. Okay, so this one, durian. Have you ever heard about durian? This fruit?
No, I think I've seen a video in which they opened it,
Yeah.
but that was like the first time I saw.
Durian.
I heard about it or I
Yeah.
saw a video on
Yeah.
it.
Okay, yeah, me too. I always, I saw a video about durian and they cut it in half, you see, and when they open, it's like very creamy inside, creamy.
Yeah.
And people say that it's not bad, but some people say the opposite. And the thing is that this fruit it has a very terrible odor. People say that it's like rotten onion. It smells like rotten onion. And some people say that it smells worse than this. So in some parts of the country, or in where you can find this kind of fruit, this fruit, when people, for example, you get on a bus and if you take a durian, the driver, for example, is allowed to ask you to leave the bus, and you have to do it because people are not allowed to have, this fruit on planes, on buses, at the airports, in places like this because of the odor. Although the fruit is not bad, they say. That's what they say. I read it on internet, right? And I saw a video about this. That people say, "Wow, this is it's like vomiting," and others say, "Wow, this is very delicious," but the odor is terrible. Okay. So let's go to this part and we are going to listen to, they are going to give you more information. Let's see. But I have to, wait a minute because I have to eliminate Zoom. Zoom out. Yeah, not yet. Wait a minute. More. Yeah. Okay. So we are going to listen to this conversation.
1. I've never tried durian. Have you? Apparently, it tastes much better than it smells.
No, I haven't tried it, but I know that it smells so much that you're not allowed to take it on buses in Singapore.
Singapore.
2.
I feel a little sick. I wonder if it was the mayonnaise on my salad.
Was it fresh mayonnaise? You should avoid using raw eggs in mayonnaise, you know. They can make you sick.
3.
What's fugu? Fugu.
Oh, I know what it is. It's a kind of fish they eat in Japan. It's actually poisonous, so only qualified chefs are allowed to prepare it in restaurants. If you eat the wrong part, it can kill you.
Wow.
4.
Can you eat shark meat?
Yes, it's popular in lots of countries. Sometimes you have to ferment it first because the fresh meat is bad for you. That's what they do in Iceland. It's called halkut there. 5. I love eating oysters, but I can never remember when it's safe to eat them.
The rule is you can't eat them in the warm summer months, but I don't know why.
6.
Are you going to boil those potatoes like that without peeling them?
Yeah, why? You don't have to peel potatoes before you boil them.
Yes, you do. At least that's what we do in our house.
7. Are you making chili con carne?
Yes, but the recipe says red beans must boil for 15 minutes or they aren't safe to eat. Do you think that's true?
8.
What's this on the menu? Steak tartare? Is that raw steak?
Yes, you can eat steak raw. It's cut into very thin pieces. You should try it.
Okay, so did you listen to what the guy said about, fugu? That, only chefs can prepare it. They are certified because if you take the wrong part, of course, that you can be killed and you can die, right? Okay, so let's see in number 1. Well, according to what they say, you see, complete the nose. Says durian, you're not allowed to. Yeah, you're not allowed to take. Yes, this is what the guy says on the listening. So you're not allowed to take durian on buses in Singapore. And I told you, not only on buses, but also on planes, right? On planes, on buses, at airports. In all these places, you are not allowed to take durian because of the smell. The smell is very terrible. It's very disgusting for people. And I told you, some people said, when I watched this, that in some cases, durians smell like rotten, onions. So you can imagine the smell. You can imagine the smell. All right. So eggs. What did the guy say about eggs? Eggs. It says you should. It says eggs. You should. Yeah.
Should avoid using raw eggs. You should avoid using raw eggs.
Yes, exactly. So we're going to confirm that this is correct. Yeah. You see, she's right because you should avoid. It's a recommendation. You should avoid using raw eggs in mayonnaise. You should avoid, right? Just because it could be dangerous. Maybe it can cause a disease for that reason. Okay, fugu. What about fugu? Are not allowed. Fugu. Yeah, what happens with fugu? Who is allowed to?
Professionals.
Yeah, professionals. How do you call these professionals?
Professional chefs.
Yeah, chefs. They are qualified, right? Okay, so yeah, you see, only qualified because they have studied, they have received a certificate, that's why qualified. Only qualified chefs are allowed to prepare fugu, right? Because the rest of the people, for example, I don't know, I don't have any idea, maybe Scarlett either, and Tiare either, and Kimberly also. So we don't know how to prepare this. So maybe we can cause You see, we can kill someone because we don't know. Hakarl. Yeah, what happens with Hakarl? Hakarl. What happens with this? What does it say, Hakarl? Hakarl, you have to
Ferment.
Yeah, exactly. You have to ferment. It says you have to ferment it first. Hakarl, you have to ferment it first. You know, this is the, you can see la carne de tiburón, Hakarl, right? In number 5, they are talking about oysters, and they are using also, you see, a modal verb that is you can't. You can't do this. You can't. What is something about you can't here? He says something about that you can't. You can't, I mean, eat this in a season. But do you remember what season? In what season?
Warm summer.
Yeah, in summer. Good. Yeah, you can't eat them, you see, in the summer. And she says that she doesn't know why. Maybe we can give an answer why we cannot eat them in summer. Why? Can you imagine why, babies? Do you have any idea why in summer? What happens in summer with the weather, for example?
It's hotter.
Yeah, it's hotter. It's hotter. Yeah, and what happens when you have, for example, imagine that you have oysters. Maybe you go to the open market and they have oysters, and it's very sunny. Oof, terrible. And what can happen? And the oyster can stay there for 1, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours.
I don't know, but I know that seafood, you have to eat it fresh.
Yeah, good. Yes, you have to eat it fresh. Otherwise, you see, I mean, they can become in very bad conditions, and this can cause you, for example, maybe a stomach ache, a terrible stomach ache, that you have to go immediately to the hospital, right? Okay, what about potatoes? You don't have to what? What does the guy says here in the, or the woman in the listening? You don't have to what?
To peel it.
Yeah, to peel. Why? I don't know. You don't have to peel potatoes before you boil them. Sometimes I put the potatoes with the peel in the you know, in the maybe sometimes in a big pan, and I boil them with the peel, and I like the peel. It's very good. I like it. So maybe, well, it's up to her. She doesn't know why, she says. Red beans. What happens with the red beans? Must what?
Must be boiled
Boil.
70 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise they are not, you cannot eat them raw. It's impossible, right? So red beans must be boiled for 15 minutes. I would say more. No, 15 minutes is not enough sometimes. Well, but anyway, they must be boiled. It's like an obligation. Steak. What happens with the steak? Steak, the meat from cow, steak. What can you do with a steak?
You can eat it raw.
Yeah, you can eat it raw. Yeah, exactly. You can eat raw steak. Yeah, this is possible. There are lots of people who eat raw meat, right? They prepare with a lot of lemon and they add other ingredients, and they say that this is very good. I don't know, because I don't like raw steak. Okay. Yes.
When we use must, always we have to put be, must be.
Not always. It depends on the context. Depende del contexto.
Okay.
Porque in this case, they put be because they must be. O sea, deben ser, boiled está usado como, es como un adjectival, participial adjective. Está usado como cocido. Pero el verbo principal en este caso es be, must be. You see? If you analyze the sentence that you like grammar, a ti que te gusta la gramática, es eso. Es como un participial, you see, that is used as an adjective. Está usado como un adjetivo.
Pero está como en voz pasiva, ¿o no?
También puede ser la voz pasiva. Beans must be boiled, también, sí. También se puede tomar como una voz pasiva porque esto sería lo que fue sujeto antes y pasó a ser ahora la voz pasiva, ¿no es cierto? El sujeto red beans must be boiled, ¿sí? Como también, sí. Pero también puede ser, acuérdate, los participios, cuando es cocido, ya, must be boiled. Okay, good. Let's see. What comes after this? Vamos a ir acá. Main menu, number 6, number 6. Let's see what comes after that. Yeah. No, I still work with him today. Here we are. Okay, so this is what we did. We just did this, and there you have a vocabulary, I think. Ferment, raw, and peel. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit of vocabulary. I have it here. It's clearer. ¿Está más claro? Okay. Yeah, ferment, it says ferment, to let food to drink or drink undergo a natural chemical reaction. And peels to remove the skin, you know, from fruits or vegetables. And raw, well, you know, this one is something that is not cooked or, you know, uncooked. Okay. And then we have, you know, the pronunciation that says here, weak forms. No tienen listening. It has to be in red. Yeah, it says listen to some of the information from the conversation in exercise 7. Notice how to is not stressed. Well, to is always not stressed, right? When you say you're not allowed to go, it's to go, not to go. We're not allowed to go. We're not allowed to study. We're not allowed to, etc. I have to study. I have to play. Those are always, you know, I mean, unstressed in English. That's why they call weak forms. In B, we have word in pairs. Decides if you don't have to or if you have to. If you have to do these things, discuss with your partners. Keep eggs in the fridge. Yeah, only this one. El primero, only the first one. Discuss with your partner. Here we're going to use modals also, right? If we don't have to or if we have to do these things. For example, keep eggs in the fridge. Do we have to keep eggs in the fridge or not? Or don't we have to? Do we have to or don't
I
we?
would say yes, but I don't know why. I just do it.
I think that it's we have to keep the eggs, you know, in the fridge because it's the best way. I think Scarlett is the best way to keep, you know, I mean, to keep bacteria under control. That's why, because if you have it outside, sometimes the places are very warm, and the you know the egg can have problems, and you can have bacteria, you know. So it's better to have it in the fridge, right? Well, of course, that in the fridge it keeps the eggs fresher. So maybe for much longer, you know, than storing, for example, maybe in other places, in at room temperatures. When you have it at room temperatures, it's not the same. It's difficult. I mean, you can have, I mean, some eggs at room temperatures, for example, in the kitchen, not in the fridge, for 4 days, no more. In summer, you have to be more you have to be more careful. It's better to keep them in the fridge, just because of, you know, I think it's to keep, you know, bacteria under, you know, under control. That's the issue. Okay. Well, babies, let's see. So we are going to do the next one, and then we stop, and then we're going to continue next class with the other units and speaking, and also with extra material that I'm going to, you know, upload today about, you see, a guía using these, you know, modal verbs. All right. It says wash rice before you cook it. Wash rice before you cook it. You are experts about preparing food, right? You can also know how to prepare rice. So what can you say here if you use the modal? Do you have to or you don't have to? Do you have to
Should,
wash
but
the rice?
not necessary.
Yeah, you don't have to. You think it's not necessary? Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
I only do it for sushi to
Yeah, only do it
wash
for
it.
sushi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think some people say, I don't know, because I am not an expert in cooking, but what I have read in some cooking magazines is that it's better to do this because to wash rice, you know, I mean, that you have to wash rice because if you don't do it, rice can make, you know, gummy as they cook. Como así, como medio pegoteado, gummy. So that's why it's better to wash, you know, to wash rice. I didn't know that, but maybe they are right. I mean, that could be the reason, right? And then the other one, it says, eat fish on the days you buy it. Do you have to do it or you don't have to do it? What do you think with fish?
What, miss?
It says that eat fish one day. Oh, sorry, no. Eat fish on the day you buy it. On the day you buy it.
Yes.
Yes.
You have to.
You have to. Yeah, as Tiare said some minutes ago, that fish has to be fresh all the time. Right? That's one of the most important things. And then as a recommendation, I would say that eating fish once or twice, for example, a week or a month, may also, reduce, according to the doctors and scientists, reduce the risk of a stroke. That's very important. It may reduce the risk of stroke. It also, reduce the Alzheimer's disease. Also, depression. Also, depression. It reduces depression. So, fish has a lot of qualities, right? So, I think that you should, it's una recomendación, you should eat, I think fish. And it has to be fresh, always, right? Okay, so we are going to stop now. We are on time, babies. Estamos en la hora. So you are going to do this one, el último, the last one here. And next class, be ready, estén preparados, be ready for this speaking because you need to have an idea of what you're going to talk about. Okay? Well,
Okay, miss.
we're going to stop here and I'm going to send you an extra unit about the modals, right? And then we continue with our classes. I was preparing yesterday. I am about to finish it. Okay, so have a nice day. Have a nice
Una
weekend.
preguntita.
Yes.
¿Le puedo quitar unos minutitos, poquititos?
Sí,
Que era para saber si en ese tiempo se han asignado como trabajos o algo aparte de las pruebas.
sí, ahí están todos en el Google Classroom, Scarlett. Todo está en el Google Class, en el intermedio, dice Inglés Intermedio 2020. Las tareas que hemos hecho, que ya las hemos corregido, a las personas que lo han hecho, eso está todo en el Google Class. Everything is there.
Pero aparte de eso,
Guías,
no,
también he hecho guías.
no es nada más.
Sí, guías también. Hemos hecho varias guías de reforzamiento de unidades. También están en el Google Classroom.
Sí, pero evaluadas también, ¿o no?
¿Cómo guía? ¿Cómo evaluada?
O sea, por ejemplo, no sé, alguna nota como acumulativa que se dice, o instrucciones para algún trabajo, ¿no? No sé si me explico.
Sí, no sé, mira, lo que hemos hecho es lo que está planificado y lo que está en el calendario. Y lo único que hicimos, modificamos una fecha un poco de las pruebas, pero eso sí, y eso ya lo hemos hecho. Ya hicimos el Grammar Use of English, hicimos el Reading, y ahora viene el Writing, que viene luego. Y el trabajo, también está arriba las instrucciones del trabajo que hay que hacer, un trabajo donde tú tienes que hacer una clase, como una clase que sea, dijimos que era creativa, o sea, que tú hagas una clase como tú la harías, porque tú no tienes tanta experiencia en hacer clases, pero ¿cómo harías tú una clase enseñando algún tema de tu interés? Ya hay gente ya que está más o menos encaminada en ese trabajo. Eso también hay que entregarlo ahora en julio, ¿ya? Están las instrucciones, están arriba, están donde dice instructions, instrucciones del trabajo. También están en el Google Class. Está todo.
Okay.
En caso que le cuesta encontrarla, me escribe un correo, la puedo reenviar, porque hay mucha información, pues ya ha pasado, imagínate, llevamos cuántos meses trabajando.
Sí,
Una cantidad de cosas.
Sí, he tratado de mantenerme, ahora estoy poniéndome más al día, entonces quería preguntarle igual para estar más segura.
Sí.
Porque igual tengo que revisar todo, pero...
Si en caso que no encuentres algo, que lo hayas sacado, no sé, me avisas y te puedo reenviar el tema del trabajo, porque el tema del trabajo es súper interesante, porque la idea es que que hagan una clase enseñando algo. Hay un tiempo que está determinado ahí en la instrucción del trabajo, donde tú vas a presentar, puedes hacer, por ejemplo, algo que sea distinto. No sé, hay gente que ya está pensando en hacer, enseñar algo a través de una canción, ¿ya? ¿A quién se lo va a enseñar? Tiene que ver a aquel grupo que lo va a enseñar, sea niñitos chicos, a lolos o a gente más adulta, ¿ya? ¿Qué le va a enseñar? O le va a enseñar alguna historia, ¿cómo se le va a enseñar? Va a enseñar un juego, el juego que tenga algunas cositas entre medio, por ejemplo, algo de gramática en el juego, le va a enseñar gramática a través de un juego, ¿ya? Esa es la idea, hacer una clase, ¿ya? O puede ser otra cosa que se te ocurra, lo que se te ocurra, ¿cómo poderlo enseñar? No importa que sea una locura, es lo que sea, es hacer volar la creatividad. De ahí es importante porque tiene un buen porcentaje.
Ya, bueno, Miss,
¿Qué otra
muchas
cosa?
gracias.
Ya, bueno, que esté bien, cuídese harto, ¿ya?
Igualmente.
Gracias, mijita, que esté bien, chao, see you,
Ya.
bye
Chau,
bye.
chau.
Bye.